Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats, my magic and mostly mentalism review show. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about something called Koda, put out by David Peace. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So on today's episode, I'll be actually chatting with you guys about something called Koda, okay, that has been released really recently by David Peace, okay, and I'm not sure if many of you know David, but I actually got to know David through his YouTube channel, alright, called Deceive Reality. So on his channel, he does like interviews and podcasts with various magicians and mentalists, and I had the privilege, alright, to be one of the guests, okay, on his show, alright, on his Deceive Reality podcast. So if you haven't, checked out his YouTube channel, checked out that episode that I was on, alright, where I chat about, all things magic and mentalism, do drop by his channel and give him a sub as well. But David is actually a performer, all right, from Ireland, okay, and he kind of reached out to me and asked if I would be interested to have a look at this new release of his called Koda, okay, and David has actually put it out with the 1914. Okay, so that is another plus for me to have a look at it because I love all things 1914, right? So I've actually gone through this particular project, and not only that, I actually managed to give it a field test as well, okay, because I had one of the rare close-up engagements really recently, sometime last week actually, and so I decided to give Koda a spin, all right, and see how it played, because when I first saw the product, when I first learned about the concept behind it, I thought it was clever. I thought the secret, right, the method was clever. However, I had my initial reservations, okay, because I suspected that I'll talk about that a little later on in the video. But really briefly, right, what is Koda? So Koda is a pin code reveal, okay, and it uses a stack of cards, okay, that you actually make up yourself, all right. Now, each of these cards contain 4 numbers, okay. You can see that there are 4 numbers written on them, okay. I'll just show them to you, okay, and these are numbers that, well, you will not, it's not really created by you. I mean, the numbers are kind of fixed, okay, because they are actually, and I think I can say this because it has been mentioned out there in the past, this is actually a stack, okay. So this is a stack of numbers, which means any of you who do any kind of stack work, and if you understand the word cyclical, okay, then you will know exactly how this works, okay. However, the interesting thing about this particular handling of this kind of stack, okay, is that there's no memory work involved, meaning you can kind of, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, well, kind of construct the number that has been chosen by your spectator in your mind as you go along, okay, based on the information that you get as with how you normally do stack work. So what do you get when you purchase Koda from the 1914? Well, as with all your 1914 products, Koda will be made available on your 1914 account. On the tutorial video, David will give you an introduction to the video, his motivations behind coming up with this particular system. He will then teach you the system that is used to perform Koda. He'll give you some ideas and some tips about how to learn the system and to know it really well. And then he gives you a basic application of the stack itself, all right, where he does a pin reveal. There will be live performances and also studio performances along with D. Christopher. There are 3 main applications of this system that will be taught on the tutorial, and everything is shot really clearly. It's great that he has got live performance videos, and at the end of the video there'll be some more further tips and ideas as well. So in its most basic form, what this stack allows you to do is a spectator takes one, and then you will be able to know what numbers are on that card, okay? But this is of course framed as like a pin reveal. I think the premise is that you as a mentalist, a mind reader, people sometimes wonder if you can reveal their pin codes, and you say that you can, but just to not jeopardize their security. All right, here are some random pins that previous spectators have used. Okay, and you just show a whole bunch of these numbers. Okay, and they're all different. All right, and of course when you make them up, they will be in different handwriting as well, as best as you can. All right, it is actually more difficult than it sounds. All right, to write in different handwriting. If you've got a whole village of friends, get them to help you out, and then off you go. They take one card from the whole bunch, and then you will be able to know and work out, all right, what those 4 digits on their card is or are. So that's really all there is to it. It's a stack of numbers, and it's in a stack, and it'll allow you to figure out what card has been selected by a spectator. Okay, now, is the system difficult to learn? Well, it's not difficult at all. Okay, it will take you just, I don't know, a couple of runs just to understand what is going on, and then from there, you will be able to use the stack. Okay, all you need to do is to create the stack of cards, and then from there, through some blind test runs by yourself, you will find that you are able to actually use the system. Now, I will tell you that the system kind of requires, well, it's not required, but it's actually easier, okay, in the heat of performance to work out the spectator's 4-digit pin, on the card that they've chosen, if you actually write it down yourself. Okay, meaning, they've taken a card, all right, you're turned away, you're looking away, they place that card into their pocket somewhere, after memorizing the 4-digit number, and then you yourself, all right, you take out another card, a blank card, and then you kind of work out the number, on the card. It can be done, but it is a little bit tricky to kind of just work out the 4-digit number in your head. Okay, for me at least, all right? I found that, writing it down is really simple, it's very straightforward, but if I were to do it, just verbally, a 4-digit number, it's not as straightforward as that, I think, for me, because there are a couple of things to juggle in your mind, but it's not impossible. It's just easier if you write down, the numbers on another card. So I mentioned at the start of this video that when I first learned about Koda and I learned what it was about, I had my reservations about it. Okay, and the reason is because I do occasionally perform like a 4-digit number kind of a reveal, right? But in those cases when I perform such an effect, I have a spectator create a number in their mind. Okay, so they write it down, perhaps, and I tell them, the number, right? We do a reveal. I've always thought that the strength of this effect comes from the fact that the number was created by the spectator, right? Whereas this is a stack of numbers that are already pre-existing. Okay, so, it felt, right? My initial kind of instinct, I suppose, felt that I wasn't sure how strong this would play. Okay, but I had a gig, coming up just shortly after I managed to learn Koda. So I decided, what, I'm just going to give this a fair try. Okay, so I did an hour of close-up, just mingling and just roving, walking around, and I probably performed Koda about, in 1 hour, I probably did it about 8 times, I think, 7 or 8 times, all right. At the start, during the first 1 or 2 groups of people, I kind of felt like I wanted to warm up a little bit first. Okay, so I didn't go into the 2-person routine, all right, that is taught on the video. So in this routine, what happens is, you have a card selected, all right, a number selected, and you have another spectator just think of a 4-digit number in their mind. Okay, and then from there, you will be able to, using 2 more pieces of card, okay, reveal both pieces of information. Okay, so you kind of, use the number from Koda to kind of get to the freely thought of number. Okay, if you know what I mean, you know what I mean, right? So that is the main routine that I wanted to try. All right, I believe on the video it's called One in the Mind. Okay, but I felt like I wanted to give it a bit of a warm up first. Okay, because it was just my first time doing it, right? So I just did a very basic. You pick one, and I just work out what it is, okay? So I did that for maybe 2 groups, and I was pleasantly surprised, that it seemed to be quite impressive for the participants. And so from there, once I had, more confidence, and the next, 6 or 7 groups, I then just did the 2-person routine, all right, where, I used 1 person, with Koda, and then, another very standard mentalism method to get the other spectators freely thought of 4-digit number. And again, that routine played really, really well. So then after the gig, right, I started thinking to myself, right, why did I initially have this feeling that it wouldn't be as strong as I thought it would be, right? Because spectators are just, choosing a 4-digit number from a predetermined stack of numbers, right? Then it occurred to me that we do this sort of thing all the time, right? We have cards, riffle peak, thought of. We reveal the card, we know that kind of an effect can play strongly, right? But, well, people don't think that, well, what cards are in the deck, so it's not so impressive, right? It's something like that. Okay, so because this is a stack, okay, obviously, it opens itself to any kind of, handlings where you use a stack to perform some kind of routine, right? So there is a routine that is taught where you have multiple spectators choose different cards, okay? So, you could have a spectator cut the deck, and each of them take one off the top of the deck, all right? And the rest of the cards go in your pocket. And from here, you can really kind of jazz it, all right? You could have, the spectators kind of mix up their numbers, into a small packet. You could do a sneak thief kind of a routine at this point, right? Reveal that this number belongs to you, and then the next number, I think it belongs to you, right? And then for the third person, don't even say your number, think of the number in your mind, and then you reveal the 4-digit number like that. So it is open to that kind of application as well, right? Which I think is great, because with the same kind of system, the same set of props, you can involve like multiple spectators, okay? Which means, this can also be used on stage. You could have like a lineup of 3 people, 4 people, explain what the stack is about, and then go into, a kind of multiple selection routine, and you make use of those numbers and reveal them in different ways. So before I go, I thought I want to just briefly explain, I hope I can explain it without saying too much, because there are things that I think David and the 1914 don't wish to have like out there, right? And that is the point about there being no memory work. Koda in itself is a system for you to know what the numbers mean. Okay, so to people watching this, all right, to the viewers out there, if you don't know Koda, 8135 to you might be just 8135, but to me, okay, it means something else, okay? And that is what you are kind of learning, okay? It is the system, okay? So again, 4122 is not 4122 to me. To you, once you learn the system, 4122 means something else, okay? So you are actually learning the system, all right, as to how should I say this, recognize these numbers, okay? And initially, before I learned it, I had no idea what, pattern there was, okay? There's no pattern whatsoever that is discernible, all right? But once you learn it, okay, it really just jumps out at you. So I mentioned earlier that there are actually different ways to use Koda, right? So there is no memory work involved for, the basic version that is taught, but the way I do it, okay, and David does mention this in the tutorial video as well at the end of the video. The way I do it, I do use there's a memory thing involved in the way I do it, all right? But it is something that I am already using, okay? I think that's fair to say. Okay, but all in, Koda, really interesting. I think that this system is actually quite clever, all right, really smart, and it allows you to just know any one of these cards, all right? They take one and you'll be able to know what card the spectator has taken. And actually, I realized one thing as well when I was performing it, whilst I was kind of working out the number, all right, and doing the review, using the system to kind of work out the number looks like mind reading. You are really like concentrating and just focusing on getting the numbers out, right? So I think the system actually aids in delivering a convincing performance. So I'd like to thank David Peace for letting me have a look at Koda so that I can learn it and use it, and chat about it with you guys on this show. If you'd like to pick up a copy of Koda for yourselves, I will leave the link in the description box down below. Alright, so that's all I have for you guys today on this episode. I do hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it as well. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe, alright? Hit the bell notification as well so you'll be notified every time I upload a new video on this channel. Alright, but till next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I will see you on another episode of Nique Chats.